Vraćamo se na Bliski istok iz Hrvatske preko ove prekrasne novinarke Ane. Idemo vidjeti šta kaže, šta pokušava, znači, cionistički Izrael, pokušava damage control, pokušavaju oprat svoju prljavštinu. Idemo vidjeti šta kažu.
International journalists prepare to potentially enter the Gaza Strip soon. We don't know exactly when that'll happen, but it eventually will happen. And they've been restricted from reporting on the ground in the Gaza Strip over the last 2 years. Israel was under the impression that we're all morons, and if they just kill as many journalists, Palestinian journalists in the Gaza Strip, and if they bar international journalists from entering the Gaza Strip, maybe we won't know about the genocide they've been carrying out over the last 2 years. But whoopsie daisy, turns out we all saw it, we all continue to see it. They just killed 104 people in Gaza overnight in the middle of a ceasefire. So what exactly are they going to do? Oh my gosh, these international journalists, they might actually see that we are some of the most evil people on the planet. That we have leveled the Gaza Strip. We have bombed every hospital. We have bombed and destroyed every university. We've even targeted refugee camps. We've done everything we possibly could to erase the Palestinian people from the Gaza Strip while simultaneously pretending like we weren't doing that. So when the journalists show up and they see all the evidence of our wretchedness, what are we going to do? Well, Ynet gets into that. Israeli publication, they write a piece. Israel braces for a propaganda war as global journalists prepare to enter Gaza. Israel is preparing a coordinated media strategy ahead of global journalists' arrival in Gaza, including IDF-escorted tours and visual evidence to show how Hamas built terror infrastructure within civilian areas and used residents as shields. Now, when it comes to their propaganda strategy here in the United States, I mean, look no further than the likes of Emily Austin, who's so bad at making Israel look good that I would venture to say that their strategy on Gaza here probably not going to work out so well. But let me give you the details. You can decide for yourselves. With international forces expected to enter the Strip to assist in locating the hostages and the bodies that Hamas claims are no longer in its possession, Israel is bracing for the arrival of foreign journalists who will, for the first time, see the destruction with their own eyes.
Zašto niti jedan medij u Hrvatskoj ovo ne prenosi? To meni nije jasno. Kome je u interesu da se o ovim zločinima šuti? Kome je to u interesu?
It's just that the journalists will get to see the destruction close up instead of the aerial view of the complete and utter devastation that has been brought upon the Palestinian people by the hands of the Israeli government and the IDF. Israel intends to control access entirely, by the way. If you think they're just going to, open up borders and tell international journalists, be free, go report, you're wrong, obviously. So the Foreign Press Association to the Israeli government, by the way, they took the Israeli government to the courts because of their unwillingness to allow journalists into the Strip so they could do their jobs and actually report accurately on what's happening. Mm-hmm. And in a response to that, the state told the Supreme Court that Israeli and foreign journalists will soon be permitted to enter Gaza under Israel Defense Forces escorting them up to the boundary known as the Yellow Line. Okay. Officials across Israel's public diplomacy establishment are preparing for what they describe as an oncoming wave of negative reports focusing on human stories from Gaza. God forbid we talk about the humans who were absolutely devastated and destroyed and murdered by the IDF. These stories, they say, will likely feature the suffering of civilians amid the devastation and could reignite criticism of Israel's conduct during the war. There's an inherent admission there that I particularly appreciate. You know, this is going to be a bit of a problem. If we allow the journalists to show up, they might see what we've done. We've done some pretty bad things. A senior official involved in the planning described the mission as a central task for every branch of the system. The challenge, he said, is clear and significant, especially because of the widespread destruction visible in Gaza. We're working to prepare explanatory materials with an emphasis on visual and incriminating evidence to illustrate that Hamas turned Gaza into a terror state. I think Israel's the terror state. I think most people who are paying attention know Israel's the terror state. They've killed tens of thousands of innocent people that we know of so far. They have leveled the Gaza Strip. They've destroyed every residential building. You have a population of nearly 2 million people who are homeless right now because of the Israelis. They spent over 2 years annihilating the Gaza Strip, and now you have members of Israel's government saying, we're not done yet, we have to destroy the tunnels. You were there for over 2 years, you didn't do anything about the tunnels? Oh yeah, you're too busy destroying people's homes, and universities, and hospitals. Wretched. We are working to prepare explanatory materials with an emphasis on visual and incriminating evidence to illustrate that Hamas turned Gaza into a terror state, cynically using civilians and civilian infrastructure. Man, I gotta say, these people tend to think they're very brilliant, and their talking points are so tired. I am so bored. Hamas is using them as human shields. Hamas, human shields. Hamas, human shields. We're tired of it because no one's buying it anymore.
Tako je.
It makes no sense. One foreign ministry source said that we expect intensified anti-Israel attacks on social media and in traditional media outlets. What's amazing about the Israelis is that they want two things to happen simultaneously, okay? They want to carry out war crimes, kill innocent civilians, destroy their homes, level their territory entirely. They want to literally rape Palestinian prisoners on camera, by the way. And then if there might be some consequences for the Israeli prison guards who were caught on camera raping Palestinian prisoners, then you'll have Israeli civilians protesting the possibility of punishment for those prison guards. Okay, so all of those things happen, and what the Israelis feel entitled to is for us to support them and not say anything negative about them. I don't comply.
way. No way.
This is wretched. It's disgusting. There is no amount of hasbara, and there's no amount of lies coming from this disgusting Israeli government that's going to somehow sanitize the war crimes and destruction that we've all witnessed with our own two eyes over the last 2 years. They're totally delusional. So in an effort to mitigate the negative reports that reveal the Israelis for the genocidal scumbags they really are, the government is planning the establishment of designated sites in Gaza where journalists can be shown how Hamas operated from within civilian areas, of course. Officials say that if the plan is approved, several demonstration sites will be created to provide clear visual explanations. One senior Israeli official told Ynet, the journalists will show the ruins and point to Israel as responsible. Get a load of this, though. But Israel's message is unequivocal. Hamas bears the responsibility. We never do anything wrong. We are innocent angels. We kill tens of thousands of children and think we're the good guys. Unequivocal. Man, this is consistent with international law, even if it doesn't look good on camera. Well, that's a senior Israeli official who didn't want to identify themselves. If everything that's being done is compliant with international law, why are you giving an anonymous statement? Shouldn't you be proud of the conduct that's been carried out, senior Israeli official? And another senior official laughably claimed that it was Hamas, not the IDF, that leveled Gaza. We need to make clear that this was a terror state. For 20 years, Hamas built terror infrastructure on top of civilian infrastructure. It exploited schools, mosques, and basically everything that Israel bombed to smithereens in order to make way for Israeli settlements. They're going to blame on Hamas. We already know the storyline. What's funny is that they think it's going to work. It's not going to work because we're not morons.
Tako je.
You're either an Israel defender, you're like Brianna Wu, who like, oh my God, she like swallows that Hasbara nonsense day in and day out. She's so proud of herself for doing it. She's an embarrassment. I am embarrassed that we were ever associated with her in any way, shape, or form. Oh God, get off X, man. What an embarrassment you are. People like that, sure, they'll swallow the Hasbara proudly. But for anyone who has two brain cells to rub together, they're either living in reality but too terrified to speak about it because they see how the Israelis act once anyone pushes back against their war crimes, or they're openly condemning the Israelis like we are here at TYT. Unafraid. Day in, day out. We see the war crimes.
Tako
Your
je.
little propaganda trips, your little manipulation strategies for journalists aren't going to work for people who actually care about the truth. And the truth is, these are among the worst atrocities I have witnessed in my lifetime. And they're not going to stop. They're going to continue. They're not going to stop with Gaza. They're not going to stop with the West Bank. They're currently bombing southern Lebanon and occupying southern Lebanon. Tell me if the Lebanese government is ready to disarm Hezbollah. Because, you know, disarming Hezbollah means that the Lebanese will be safe. Their sovereignty won't be.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.
Da, ono što bih htjela dodat je to da znači to sa Hamasom je sve bila u režiji Izraela. Sve izrežirano, imate vide, znači IDF vojnici kojima je bila radio veza isključena u 5:20 ujutro i koji su sami svjedočili da to nije normalno. Znači, to što se tamo događalo nije bio propust. Znači, taj Hamas, on je bio trojanski konj koji je pušten namjerno unutra da izazove kaos i da to da ovom luđaku Netanjahu povod da cijelu Gazu sravni sa zemljom, zato što njihov bolesni ideološki cionistički cilj je veliki Izrael. To je njihov cilj. Tako da neće se zaustaviti, kao što je rekla Ana, ići će na Libanon, htjet će osvajati dalje, međutim neće im to uspjeti zato što im se raspada, to njihovo lažno sotonsko kraljevstvo se raspada, pucaju po šavovima, razotkriveni su u čitavom svijetu i neće to tako dalje ići. I želim samo još nadodati ne u moje ime. Znači, vi ste, za mene, za moj pojam, ti si zločinac. Ti, Netanjahu, ti si zlo. Ti si zlo, vrlo dobro znaš što radiš, poučen si od svojih rabina iz Talmuda, znači ubiti sve gojime, kako nas nazivate sve. Ti si, znači, osoba non grata u čitavom svemiru. U čitavom svemiru i čekate pakao. Ja se nadam da te čeka pakao za svo zlo, za sav pakao koji si priuštio svim ovim jadnim ljudima. Svim zločincima, teroristima treba suditi, a ti si prvi među njima. Ti i svako koji s tobom surađuje, a što se Hrvatske tiče, u moje ime ne. U moje ime ja ti govorim apage satanas. Odstupi Sotono od Hrvatske, odstupi od naše zemlje, odstupi od našeg naroda. U ime Isusa Krista. Ja molim i tražim zaštitu, Božju ruku nad Hrvatskom i zaštitu od svih unutarnjih i vanjskih neprijatelja, pogotovo unutarnjih. I molim te, Bože, Oče nebeski, ti svakog znaš koji su. Ti ćeš ih locirati, Gospodine. Ti ih lociraj, Oče. Jednostavno molim te za istinu i pravdu u ovoj zemlji da dođu više naprijed i da se očisti ova septička rupa i svo smeće, svo govno da ispliva van, da to maknemo, da to očistimo jednom zauvijek. Amen.